Welcome to another edition of Ask the AD. Brian Smolder with the Director of Athletics, Gene Taylor, back with you. Even though it's June, there are still some things to get to regarding K-State athletics. Not as many questions this time around.
A little quieter this time of year.
I just take that to mean that we've done a great job of answering everybody's questions.
I'm going with that.
No one has any questions or concerns right now, which is great.
There you go.
Everybody's 100% on their record, and teams are ready to go for the season. We'll get to all that coming up. Of course, the biggest news for K-State really came in the last couple of weeks with Pete Hughes, the new baseball coach here at K-State. I guess your thoughts now a few days, weeks removed from that process.
You know, we're very excited about Pete. He's got a great family. First of all, it was great to meet the family during the introduction process. Pete's been busy. I mean, we literally introduced him and he's been on the road either seeing recruits and trying to get his staff put together. So we did get a chance to get him in front of our Manhattan Catbacker tour, Manhattan Catbackers, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So he hasn't had a chance to meet a lot of people. He's been busy, but very excited about the energy he's bringing, the experience he's bringing, and I think he's going to be a great fit for us.
Sounds like the guys, the current team, is also pretty excited, just hearing some of them talk about him as well.
Absolutely.
And coaching hires are kind of, it's a never-ending process. Much like recruiting for the coaches, coaching hires always seem to be there, whether it's a head coaching position at the highest profile spot, or some of the lower sports that don't get as much attention. Daniel Steinberg, who has done a tremendous job for the tennis team, just recently announced at Colorado, so you have another coaching search.
Yeah, you know, and we appreciate Danielle. She's done a tremendous job, like you mentioned, went to the NCAA tournament this year, won a match in the NCAA, so she had a chance to go, and we wish her the best. We hate to lose good coaches like that, but it gives us another chance to do another search, which we'll do, and again, very similar to the baseball search, there's a lot of interest in our tennis position. We have some great facilities. We had a great year, so that brings candidates that are interested. So we're pretty far down the path on this search. We've identified some of our top candidates. Scott Garrett, the sport administrator for tennis, is leading that search, and so we'll probably start doing interviews here and hopefully within the next couple of weeks have a tennis coach in place.
Now the tennis hire, will, as you mentioned, we'll get the idea of what sort of person you're looking for that right fit for that sport. I guess go back to the whole process as a whole, baseball and tennis, and looking to the future with more sports. It's like I said, it's always an issue for you, right?
Right.
People want to draw some conclusions from the first two hires in your tenure here. What would you offer up, I guess, as a response to that?
Well, I think every search is different, right? And whatever reason for coaches to leave, the situation is different. So we may look for, like in the baseball position, we were looking for head coach experience, somebody that had turned programs around. So that particular search, we identified qualities that we were looking for. The tennis one is a little different. It's a successful program coming off the NCAA tournament, yet we don't necessarily feel we have to have a sitting head coach. If we get one, great, but we've got some good assistants out. So every situation is different, and so we kind of evaluate it. We'll sit down and talk and say, what do we need to get the best coach for this particular position? And every search is different, but there are certain qualities you do look for. Obviously good people, people that understand your program, people that understand what they're walking into, understand the expectations. And so those things don't change a great deal, but certainly each search is a little different.
We'll get more into the weeds on that, I'm sure, over the years as we get farther down into your tenure here at Kansas State. Catbacker Tour just wrapped up through the month of May and June. Your thoughts on being out year two now? You
know, I wish it was great. Last year I was so new, I didn't get a chance to really, I didn't know a lot of people. You walk in, your head's kind of spinning. This year was a lot more enjoyable, but I didn't get a chance to see as many Catbacker Tours events that I wanted to, just because of my schedule. But the one thing that just continues to reinforce is our passionate fan base. It's so fun to see them come out. Most of them are involved with golf tournaments, and we have a dinner, and we bring speakers out, head coaches, assistant coaches. I get a chance to go out, and just the love they have for our sport, our program is very evident. Some are bigger events, some are 300 people, some are 75 to 100, but they're all full of passion. And you know, Wyatt Thompson does a tremendous job. He does every one of them, and we have a great staff. And you know, our entertainment folks, the hospitality folks put that on. So it's a lot of fun, and hopefully next year I can do more than I did this year.
It certainly seems to be a well-received event, unique in all of collegiate athletics. Speaking of the fans, our one question this week on Ask the AD comes from the K-State family on Twitter, which asks, about the large pile of gravel on the east side of Bill Snyder Family Stadium. I come in that way every morning. I guess maybe I've just grown used to seeing gravel or construction. I guess I missed it, but to a larger extent, facility projects are ongoing. Even though there's not a massive campaign, there are still some facility updates.
Yeah, we do. And actually, I drove by this morning because I saw the question. I wanted to see what he was talking about. But I think that's probably, that pile is for a track project where we're pulling out all of our current track is getting completely redone. We're hosting the Big 12 championships in 2020, so we're going to be installing a brand new track. There'll eventually be lights put in there. So that project is going on right now. We just finished the East Side East Side Club area in the football stadium. So that's really nice. That upgrade, I just walked through that the other day. And then we're going to start on the infield of the baseball. We're going to replace the infield and outfield of the baseball, or the infield of the baseball stadium, Toyton Family Stadium. We're going to redo the outfield wall. We're going to put some padding up. So it's kind of the first phase of the baseball project. So we got those ongoing, and then eventually we'll get into probably the bigger projects like soccer and baseball, as we've talked about already.
And there's been a little bit of, continued to be a little bit of cosmetic stuff in Bramlage as well in the concourse. That's kind
concourse, you'll see some upgrades there with some graphics, and both in the Bramlage and maybe even Veneer. If you come into Veneer, you'll see some upgrades in graphics there as well. So a lot of little stuff, but not price tag. They're not little, but they're little projects.
No, the Bramlage stuff has seemed to be a big hit. I know that just the painting, it sounds so simple, but everybody that's bought a house knows the deal, right? You put a coat of paint on it, can really change perspective pretty fast. The facility plan, the master facility plan, I know is still a thing that's in the works and to be released at some point. It's a never evolving sort of document. But the strategic plan is something you've also mentioned as well as something you're trying to fine tune. For those that don't remember what that means or what exactly that's all about, what can you tell us?
Well, a strategic plan for me personally as an athletic director that's just been here a year is, what is the direction I want to see our department go? And so last year when I first got here, I visited with every one of our staff members. Sat down with them for some as much as an hour, some as much as an hour and a half, and wanted to get their vision. What do they thought, what our staff felt was important for K-State, where the direction we felt we needed to go to continue to be successful. So I took that information, we brought in a company to help us put together a plan of what are the most important priorities that we feel direct our program. So we took those top priorities, and then underneath those we're going to put goals and objectives to lead our program for the next really 3 to 5 years. And so it was really input from all the staff at all levels here at K-State Athletics. We took our senior team and our directors, and we said, okay, what's important for us to continue to move our program forward? Facilities, athletic success, student athlete success academically, diversity, inclusion, all those things. And within those top 7, I think we have 7 priorities. What are goals and objectives we want to reach for the next 3 to 5 years, and we'll put that out here probably in the next month or so.
And looking forward to seeing that and having, at least on paper, for some people, a tangible idea of the direction you want to go.
Absolutely, and again, it was put together by everybody in our department that feels strongly about what we need to do to be successful.
Speaking of being successful, how about Cliff Revelto and the K-State track and field team?
You know, just a tremendous year again, another women's Big 12 outdoor, but then they and the men finished 3rd. I think we've talked about that. You know, but then they take 15 to the nationals and had tremendous success. And we had the high jumper TJ win a national championship again with the high jump. So just a tremendous track season again for Coach Revelto and the staff. Absolutely.
And a young group as well. It just seems like they continue to churn things out. Men's group on the rise as well. For more on the track team, go to kstatesports.com certainly, and continue to follow us on Twitter. Any more questions for Gene Taylor? You may ask them or answer them in between our Ask the AD segments, so just tweet at him on social media or via Facebook. Gene, thanks for the time.
Yeah, well, everybody has a good rest of the summer. I'm sure we'll do this again before we get too busy when the fall kicks off.
Yeah, get those questions loaded up now. For Gene Taylor, I'm Brian Smoller. Thanks for watching Ask the AD.